this first episode of my Great Southwest Adventure Tour, we'll visit the Litchfield Museum and Route 66 Welcome Center, a historic gas station, or two, the world's largest neon soda bottle, the site of a legendary gangster shootout, and we'll have lunch at a famous Route 66 diner and even meet Guy Fieri. For months I've been planning a tour of the Southwest from Bristol, Wisconsin to New Mexico and up through Utah. The first leg took me to Litchfield, Illinois, a not so famous but not insignificant stop on the Route 66 journey. Like many towns along Route 66, they all have their own story and their own museum showing how the town was built, who's who, what's what, who the famous people are. And in Litchfield, they had this really cool plaque that stretched on forever. It must have been 12 feet long and showed all of the different towns along the great Route 66 journey. But the Litchfield Museum also had Teresa, a very energetic historian.
We developed in the middle 1800s. The railroad came through. It was mostly passenger rail. And the city had started developing a few miles away, and when the railroad came through, they picked up the buildings and brought them to the railroad, and so that's how we came. And then Route 66 came through in 1930. It was opened up, and I was born and raised here. Used to go cruising on the Route 66. Never ever dreamed that we'd have a museum here someday, and that I would greet people from all over the world, which is the amazing.
Yeah, it is pretty
people
amazing.
That travel the route. I mean, this map shows you who's been here, where they're from since January.
Directly across the street is Ariston Cafe. First built in 1924, it moved to its current location on Route 66 in 1935. According to the waitress, the back bar is original. As for the rest of it, I'm just not sure. Route 66 actually had a lot of variations, and just like with modern road building, the road is moved and improved and things change. And so there really isn't a single Route 66. There's a lot of different variations that you'll see, and sometimes along the way, you can actually see that in the signage. 8 miles down the road from Litchfield is Mount Olive, and in there stands Soulsby's gas station, which Wikipedia calls the oldest usable service station in Illinois. I wonder if that means I can get gas for $39.9 a gallon. I was actually a little bit surprised to find that it was open and nobody was in here, and the filling station is complete with a lot of old relics, signs, and things of that nature, articles about how the gas station was restored to its original form, and other such memorabilia. Believe it or not, I can remember traveling Route 66 with my parents, and I remember these old Coca-Cola machines. You could get a soda for 10 cents. It came in a bottle and you had to pull it out. And way too often that machine ate my 10 cents and I never got the Coke. Old phones, old gas pumps, old TVs, and old radios inhabit the old Soulsby's gas station. I don't know if you're allowed to touch things in here or not, but I just couldn't resist playing with this thing. I don't know what it is, maybe an old machine that filled up oil cans or something of that nature, but you know, I saw a handle and I had to turn it. Outside was an old rack to get cars off the ground. I wonder how they got those cars past that tree. My next stop on the journey was a place called Cuba, Missouri. Yeah, I did drive right past St. Louis in the Arch, but hey, everybody's seen that, right? Well, some towns tell their history through museums. Cuba tells it through murals. And these are really well-maintained pictures of life as it was like in Cuba over the years. It's really an outside walking documentary of the town's history, from its important people to its shops and businesses, and really shows you what life is like. The city maintains these very well. This, for example, is the Frisco train, St. Louis to San Francisco, went right through Cuba, an important part of the city. And in fact, there's a Frisco Grill and Pub that is very popular in Cuba. I ended up having lunch here. One thing to remember, if you're in Missouri, smoking is still allowed in the bars. The next day I traveled to a place called Carthage, Missouri to see Red Oak 2, billed as a stroll through the past, the recreation of a 1930s town along Route 66. But to say I had a little bit of trouble getting there is an understatement. First, my GPS had me pull into this private residence driveway with my camper in tow. I actually had to go all the way back to that barn and make a U-turn. Right next to that house was this huge parking lot, which I thought would be perfect to park in, but apparently that's also not part of Red Oak 2 and was told I probably shouldn't park there, even though I'm not sure why anybody would really care if nothing was going on. But finally I was directed to this dirt road, which actually led me right into Red Oak 2. It was easy enough for me to get in there and get out with my tiny teardrop camper, but if you had a large camper, I'm not sure what you would do. Once you're there, you really just kind of walk around. There's an old church, there are a variety of 1930 replica houses, or maybe not so replica. There are trucks and cars, and there's even a cemetery if you get into that sort of thing. Cemeteries are a great way to learn history, by the way, I've always found. And if you look carefully, there's even a working chicken coop. The whole site is free, but you'll find donation boxes. And I did give a few dollars here and there, and I did find that a lot of these free places, well, let's just say I spent a lot of money on donations on this trip. What's a little bit odd about this place is some of these houses are occupied. In fact, I walked up on this porch and then realized that there was a whole family eating lunch inside while I'm walking on their porch. That was kind of spooky. So Red Oak 2, I'm actually not sure what to make of this place. It's like 1930s, and then there are houses that clearly are electrified and have septic, so you know people are living in them. It's kind of weird, but it's kind of cool. It's one of those Highway 66 idiosyncrasies, I guess. Not too far down the road from Carthage is Joplin, Missouri, and this is the home of the famous Bonny and Clyde shootout, where Bonny and Clyde and their gang, Blanche and I think it was Clyde Barrow as well, holed up in this little garage apartment and had a big old shootout with local law enforcement, ending up killing 3 of them, and they got away and they left some pictures behind, which apparently were the first pictures of the gang that were publicly available. It's neat because this isn't a museum, it's literally just a garage apartment that exists just like it did back in 1933, and frankly, when you drive around the neighborhood, it probably looked pretty much then like it does now. Less than 10 miles away and a little ways down the winding Route 66, you find yourself in Galena, Kansas, the home of Cars on the Route. And if you're into Disney movies, you might like this place. So let's see if this place is open. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. Nope, not open. I should have noticed this. The sign is not lit. Can we see inside? Oh, I don't think there's anything in there. Drive through Galena, stay on Route 66, and you're in Vinita, Oklahoma, about an hour away, the home of Clanton's Cafe with the famous Eat sign. This is a Route 66 icon, visited by none other than Guy Fieri, of diners, drive-in and dives who said they have the best chicken fried steak there is. A lot of memorabilia on the walls. Let's give that chicken fried steak a try. I'm no connoisseur, but this is pretty good. As promised, meet Guy Fieri. The Oklahoma Tollway is an old-fashioned tollway and apparently can be challenging for everyone. I was making fun of one guy and then it happened to me. Alright, well this is kind of funny. I got on the Oklahoma Turnpike, Highway 44, and there was a guy getting off and he didn't have any money to pay the toll. And they don't take credit cards. And he said, well, are you gonna mail me the bill? And she's like, oh no, hun. Here's an envelope. You go into town and you buy something with your credit card and ask for some change, or go to an ATM station and get some cash, and next time you get on the tollway, you're gonna have to pay this. And she gave him a little envelope. Oh my God, it's like back in the 70s. Now it's my turn. Hello. So I just got on Bristow. Does that count for anything?
You take it when you got on the Bristow. No, you got off the Bristow.
I literally just got on and paid $2.25.
You had a ticket that said Bristow wanted if you were going to Oklahoma City.
Oh, that green ticket or something that you get out of the machine?
Yep.
Guess I screwed up. So am I paying my toll for what I already drove or what I'm about to drive? Either way, somehow I think I got ripped off. About 2.5 hours down Route 44 is Pop's Soda Shop in Arcadia, Oklahoma. Billed as a Route 66 must-see icon, the largest soda pop bottle in the world. Virgil's Root Beer. Cool bottle, but I wonder if it's as good as A&W. Road trip with soda. Well, you know, Pop's Soda Fountain or whatever it's called, iconic apparently. Doesn't really do it for me. I don't drink soda, but they had a lot of soda, so if you're like an aficionado of soda, come here. But otherwise, not my cup of tea. But I did get a cup of coffee, finally. It does look cool at night, I'll admit that. About another hour and a half down the road, this time past Oklahoma City, right off of Route 40, is Lucille's historic gas station. Even though the weather wasn't cooperating, I just had to stop. Lucille and her family ran this thing from 1927 until her death in 2000. So just think about, this was a bustling place to be, a gas station that you had to stop at to get fuel to continue your journey, and now it just sort of sits here. But the outside is really cool. It's restored. The inside, there's nothing there, and it's easy parking for an RV. Interesting topography over here. Notice how the hills look like they're kind of blowing towards me? That's what the wind feels like. Holy cow, you can't see it, but this is Oklahoma, where the winds come sweeping down the plain. Oh yeah, I almost missed the Leaning Tower of Texas. And that's right, I'm in Texas now. Well, I was going to stop at another Route 66 site, another gas station, seen several of them. But it's rainy, it's windy, it's cold, doesn't look like it's going to let up. So I'm going to push on through all the way to Amarillo and my RV site. Well, folks, that was a 4-day drive from Bristol, Wisconsin, all the way to Amarillo, Texas, and really Palo Duro Canyon State Park. I'm staying at the Palo Duro RV Resort right here outside the canyon. It is nothing to speak of. It's just a place to park because I could not get into the canyon. Saw a lot of great sights on Route 66. There were so many more things I could have seen, but had a mission to get here in 4 days, and so I have, and now I'm going to start to do some real camping, hopefully, and certainly some more hiking. I hope you enjoyed this, and I hope you watch the next video as well. Take care, everyone, and until next time, carry on.